Imagine this. One of the world's biggest pop stars, known for her electric stage presence, takes a break from the spotlight to stand quietly in the heart of the Amazon, her body painted in sacred designs, surrounded by indigenous leaders. That's exactly what happened when Anitta participated in the Kuarup ceremony in Brazil's Xingu Indigenous Territory. Social media, of course, had a lot to say about her look, her respect for tradition, and yes, even about her famous figure. But beneath the chatter, there's a much bigger story here. A global superstar using her platform to highlight. Anitta was painted with natural pigments, wore red leg bands, and stood alongside community members in a moment of deep cultural respect. Instead of dazzling lights and backup dancers, she immersed herself in a ceremony that has been practiced for centuries, proving that even global icons can step out of the spotlight and take part in something bigger than themselves. Her visit was filmed for a special program alongside Brazilian TV host Luciano Huck. But what stood out most wasn't the show, it was Anitta's authenticity. She didn't treat the experience as a performance. She listened, she participated with humility, and she allowed herself to be part of a ritual that holds spiritual weight for the Kuarup people. This wasn't a pop star cameo. It was an effort to learn, to honor, and to amplify the voices of communities who have long been fighting to protect their land, forests, and traditions from outside threats. On Instagram, Anitta shared heartfelt words about her experience, thanking the indigenous leaders who invited her and reflecting on the importance of preserving cultural memory. She highlighted her meeting with Cacique Raoni, one of Brazil's most respected indigenous leaders, known worldwide for his defense of the Amazon rainforest. With her massive platform, Anitta reminded her millions of followers that indigenous communities are not only the guardians of Brazil's natural treasures, but also key voices in the fight for the planet's future. What makes this moment so powerful is the balance Anitta strikes between celebrity influence and cultural respect. Too often, famous figures step into cultural spaces in ways that come across as shallow or appropriative. But in this case, Anitta's role was different. She was invited by the community. She followed their guidance, and she used her social reach to emphasize the importance of indigenous rights. For viewers worldwide, this was an example of how a pop star can move beyond entertainment and help spotlight issues of global importance. Of course, this is Anitta we're talking about, and the internet never misses a chance to comment on her looks. Social media quickly filled with reactions, some praising her beauty, others joking about her figure, and a few debating whether her body is real or not. These playful and sometimes critical remarks reflect how celebrity culture works today. Even in moments of cultural importance, fans and critics alike can't resist weighing in on the personal image of the star at the center. The interesting thing is how Anitta seems unfazed by it all. Her career has been built on boldness, confidence, and openness about her body and image. So when people online fixate on her appearance during a sacred event, it almost proves her point. No matter what she does, the conversation will swirl. But instead of pushing back, she stays focused on what matters. By showing her participation in the Kuarup ceremony, she gave visibility to indigenous culture while letting the online chatter roll on as background noise. The Kuarup itself deserves attention. It's a complex ritual filled with symbolism, rites of passage, hookah wrestling matches that display balance and strength, and ceremonies honoring those who have passed. For outsiders like Anitta, being part of it is not about performance, but about stepping into a living tradition that ties generations together. Her participation brings new eyes to a practice that many outside Brazil might not even know exists, turning a pop culture moment into an educational one. Anitta's presence also raises important conversations about cultural celebration versus appropriation. Some critics wondered if a celebrity should be part of such a sacred event. But others saw her involvement as an example of collaboration and visibility. Because she was invited, guided, and respectful, her role leans toward celebration. And for millions watching, it offers a chance to see indigenous traditions as living, relevant, and deserving of respect, not just historical footnotes. It's also worth noting how this ties into Anitta's broader career. She's not just a Brazilian superstar anymore. She's a global name, from topping Spotify's charts worldwide with her hit Envolver, to performing on some of the biggest stages in the world. She's constantly expanding her influence. Bringing attention to indigenous struggles shows a different side of her brand, one that connects entertainment with activism, beauty with meaning, and personal fame with collective responsibility. Her decision to highlight the fight against proposed laws that threaten indigenous land is especially significant. In Brazil, debates over land rights and deforestation have enormous consequences, not just for indigenous people, but for the climate and ecosystems that affect the entire planet. By speaking out, Anitta aligned herself with a cause much bigger than music. For fans around the world, this might be the first time they've connected a global pop figure to the defense of the Amazon and indigenous sovereignty. Social media's response was predictably a mix of admiration, humor, and critique. Some users marveled at her beauty, others cracked jokes, while a few reflected on what her involvement meant. One fan suggested rethinking how traditional clothing is used in Carnival, proposing it could be seen as a way to celebrate rather than appropriate. Another pointed out the irony of criticizing Anitta's clothing at the ceremony, noting that indigenous communities historically didn't even wear Western-style outfits. These discussions show how a celebrity moment can spark deeper cultural debates. For Anitta, though, the ceremony wasn't about sparking debate online. It was about presence. Being painted by the Kuarup people, wearing traditional adornments, and standing alongside leaders like Raoni created an image that spoke volumes. For viewers outside Brazil, it might have been surprising to see a superstar so connected to tradition. For those within Brazil, it was a reminder that culture and activism can intersect in ways that resonate beyond borders. Ultimately, what stands out from this moment is the duality of Anitta's impact. On one side, the internet reacts in typical fashion, fixating on her looks, her figure, and her image. On the other, her participation sparks conversations about indigenous rights, cultural preservation, and the role of celebrities in advocacy. That duality is exactly why she remains so relevant. She knows how to generate buzz while still anchoring herself in moments that carry meaning and substance. So what can we take away from all this? Anitta's participation in the Kuarup ceremony shows that celebrity culture, when handled with respect, can bring global attention to local traditions. It reminds us that indigenous communities are not relics of the past. They are vibrant, living cultures fighting for their rights and futures. And while social media might be buzzing about Anitta's looks, the real story here is about a pop star who chose to step out of the spotlight and into a ritual that honors memory, resilience, and the human connection to land. That's something worth talking about.